March 1963. 6:47 p.m. There's a difference between being invited to dinner and being summoned to one. Raymond Cole sat in his apartment staring at a handwritten note delivered by a kid who didn't wait for a tip. The handwriting was neat, almost formal, the kind of penmanship they taught in Harlem schools back when teachers still believed discipline could save you. Ray, Small's Paradise. 8 p.m. tonight. Just us. Like old times. Bumpy. Ray read it 3 times. Each time, his hands shook a little more. Because, like old times, was exactly what he was afraid of. Ray and Bumpy went back 30 years. Back to barefoot summers on Lenox Avenue, back to skipped school days and stolen apples, back to the kind of friendship where you didn't need to explain yourself because the other person already knew. They'd run together, fought together, survived together. And 3 weeks ago, Ray had betrayed him. Not with a gun. Not with a public insult. With something quieter and far more dangerous. He'd talked to the feds. It started small, the way these things always do. An agent named Howell caught Ray coming out of a bar, flashed a badge, mentioned a gambling charge that could vanish or explode depending on how cooperative Ray felt. Ray wasn't a gangster. He ran errands. He collected small bets. He knew names, schedules, drop-off points, the kind of details that weren't glamorous but were valuable if you knew how to package them. The feds didn't want Bumpy's whole operation. They wanted enough to justify a raid. Enough to make headlines. Enough to prove that Harlem's untouchable king could bleed. And Ray, terrified and desperate, gave them just enough. He told himself it wasn't really betrayal. He didn't name Bumpy directly. He didn't testify. He just shared observations. Patterns. Small things. But in Harlem, small things have a way of adding up to funerals. The raid happened 2 weeks later. Federal agents hit 3 policy banks on the same night, timed perfectly, like someone had drawn them a map. They didn't catch Bumpy. They never did. But they caught enough money and enough people to make the newspapers happy and Bumpy's operation bleed for a month. And Bumpy, who survived by being 3 steps ahead, started asking the question every smart man asks when something smells wrong. Ray heard the rumors before he heard his name. Bumpy was looking. Bumpy was asking. Bumpy was narrowing it down. At first, Ray thought about running. Packing a bag. Catching a bus to Philadelphia or Baltimore, somewhere far enough that Harlem's reach couldn't find him. But he'd grown up with Bumpy. He knew better. You don't run from a man who has eyes in every barbershop, every cab, every hotel lobby. You don't outrun loyalty that deep. So when the dinner invitation arrived, Ray understood what it really was. A test. Or a sentencing. At 7:53 p.m., Ray walked into Small's Paradise wearing his best suit, the one he saved for weddings and wakes. The club was quieter than usual. A few musicians tuned instruments on stage. A bartender wiped glasses without looking up. And in the back corner, at the table everyone knew belonged to him, sat Bumpy Johnson. No guards visible. No guns on the table. Just a man in a fedora with 2 plates of food already waiting. Bumpy looked up and smiled. Not the smile of a friend. The smile of a man who already knows the ending. Ray, Bumpy said warmly. Sit down. Ray's legs felt like they were moving through water, but he sat. Bumpy gestured to the plate. I ordered for you. Steak. Greens. Cornbread. The way your mama used to make it. Ray stared at the food like it might be poisoned. Bumpy laughed softly. Relax. If I wanted you dead, you wouldn't have made it through the door. Ray swallowed. Then, why am I here? Bumpy leaned back, studying him the way a teacher studies a disappointing student. Because, Bumpy said quietly, I wanted to give you a chance to tell me the truth. The room seemed to shrink. Ray opened his mouth. Closed it. Tried again. Bumpy raised a hand, gentle but firm. Not yet, he said. First we, like old times. And so they did. In silence. To understand why that dinner felt like a funeral, you need to understand what Ray had been to Bumpy. Ray wasn't muscle. He wasn't a strategist. He wasn't someone Bumpy feared or respected in the traditional sense. He was something harder to replace. History. They'd met as kids in the early 1930s, back when Harlem was still finding its identity and both of them were just trying to survive. Bumpy was already sharper, already calculating. Ray Ray was loyal, steady, the kind of friend who didn't ask questions when you needed help moving something heavy in the middle of the night. When Bumpy started running numbers in his 20s, Ray Ray ran with him, not for power, but because that's what friends did. When Bumpy went to prison the first time, Ray Ray kept his wife fed, kept his reputation clean, kept the wolves from circling. When Bumpy came out and started building something bigger, something that required trust in a world built on paranoia, Ray Ray was one of the few men Bumpy didn't have to test. Because some men earn trust. Others inherit it through years. But by the early 1960s, Ray Ray had become something else, a relic. He wasn't dangerous anymore. He wasn't sharp. He ran small errands, delivered messages, collected weekend bets from old-timers who remembered when he mattered. He was safe. And that safety made him invisible. That's what the feds saw when they picked him up outside that bar. Not a gangster. A weak link. Agent Howell didn't threaten Ray Ray with violence. He didn't need to. He just painted a picture: jail time, lost income, a family that would suffer, all over a gambling charge that wasn't even Ray Ray's. Or, Howell said, you help us understand how things work uptown. Just context. Just background. No one gets hurt. Ray Ray wanted to believe that. So he talked. He told them which corners were active on Fridays. Which bars took bets. Which runners worked which blocks. He didn't name Bumpy directly. He convinced himself that made it okay. But in an organization built on silence, even small cracks let in floods. The feds used Ray Ray's information to map the operation, time their raid, and hit just hard enough to make Bumpy look vulnerable. And vulnerability in that world is blood in the water. Bumpy didn't panic. He never did. He started asking quiet questions. Not loud accusations, just calm, steady curiosity. Who knew about the Lennox spot? Who was around when we moved the drop schedule? Who's been acting different lately? Names were crossed off. Patterns emerged. And then someone, a driver, a bartender, maybe a cop on Bumpy's payroll, mentioned seeing Ray Ray getting into an unmarked car near 145th Street 2 weeks before the raid. That's all it took. Not proof. Just a thread. Bumpy pulled the thread carefully, and it led straight back to the man sitting across from him now, pretending to eat steak. Bumpy set his fork down gently and wiped his mouth with a cloth napkin. You haven't touched your food, he said. Ray Ray looked down. His plate was still full. I'm not hungry, Ray Ray said quietly. Bumpy nodded like he'd expected that answer. That's because you already know why you're here, Bumpy said. Ray Ray's throat tightened. Bumpy, I didn't. Bumpy raised his hand again, this time not gentle, just firm. Don't lie to me, Ray. The weight of those 5 words hit harder than any threat. Bumpy leaned forward. I've known you since we were kids, he said. I know when you're scared. I know when you're guilty. And I know when you think you can talk your way out. Ray Ray's eyes filled, but he didn't speak. Bumpy's voice stayed calm, almost sad. 3 weeks ago, the feds hit 3 spots at the same time. Perfect timing. Perfect locations. They didn't get me, but they got enough to hurt. He paused. And the only way they could have known what they knew is if someone told them. Ray Ray finally broke. They threatened me, he said, voice cracking. They said they'd put me away. They said my family. Your family, Bumpy interrupted, has been eating because of me for 20 years. The truth of that statement sat between them like a third person at the table. Bumpy sat back. You know what the rules are, Ray. You've always known. We don't talk to the feds. We don't talk to cops. We don't talk to reporters. We keep our mouths shut and we handle things ourselves. Ray Ray nodded, tears running now. I know, he whispered. I know. You just thought you'd be the exception, Bumpy finished. Because we were friends. Ray Ray looked up, desperate. We are friends, he said. Bumpy, please. I'm sorry. I made a mistake. I'll fix it. You can't fix this, Bumpy said quietly. You already broke it. Silence filled the room again. Then Bumpy did something Ray Ray didn't expect. He stood up. walked around the table, and placed a hand on Ray Ray's shoulder. Not threatening. Almost compassionate. "I'm not going to kill you, Ray," Bumpy said. Ray Ray's breath came out in a shaky sob of relief. "Thank you," he whispered. "Thank you, Bumpy, I swear I'll." "But you're not leaving this room the same way you came in," Bumpy continued. Ray Ray froze. Bumpy stepped back and nodded toward the shadows near the kitchen door. Two men stepped out. Not armed. Not aggressive. Just present. Bumpy looked at Ray Ray one last time. "You're going to tell me everything you told the feds," Bumpy said. "Every word. Every meeting. Every question they asked. And then you're going to help me fix the damage." Ray Ray's face went pale. "And after that?" he asked. Bumpy's expression didn't change. "After that," he said, "you disappear. Not dead. Just gone. New city. New name. New life. Somewhere I'll never have to wonder if you're talking again." Ray Ray stared at him, processing. "And if I say no?" Bumpy's voice dropped to something colder than Ray Ray had ever heard from him. "Then you won't leave at all." Ray Ray understood. He nodded. And for the next 3 hours, in that back room, Ray Ray told Bumpy everything. By morning, Ray Ray Cole was gone. Not in a casket. Not in the river. Just erased. A one-way bus ticket. Envelope with enough cash to start over somewhere the feds wouldn't bother looking. A new name that didn't tie back to Harlem. Bumpy kept his word. Ray Ray lived. But the friendship died that night in Small's paradise. Because Bumpy understood something that most men in power forget. Killing a traitor is easy. Living with betrayal is harder. And sometimes the cruelest punishment isn't death, it's exile. Ray Ray spent the rest of his life in a city that didn't know his name, doing work that didn't matter, surrounded by people who didn't remember him. He survived. But he never came home. Back in Harlem, the story spread the way all good legends do, with just enough truth to be believed and just enough mystery to be repeated. Ray Ray sold out Bumpy. Bumpy invited him to dinner. He never left. Some versions said Ray Ray was buried under the club. Some said Bumpy had him killed slow. Some said Ray Ray was still alive somewhere, looking over his shoulder every day. The truth didn't matter as much as the lesson. You don't betray Bumpy Johnson and stay in Harlem. Not even if you've known him your whole life. Not even if you were once his friend. Because in that world, loyalty isn't just respect. It's survival. And the moment you break it, you become a ghost, whether you're breathing or not. If this story about friendship, betrayal, and the coldest kind of mercy hit you, hit that like button and subscribe for more Harlem legends you won't hear anywhere else. Drop a comment. If you were Bumpy, would you have let Ray Ray live, or would mercy have looked different? Stay close, because next time, we're telling the story of the one man who tried to set Bumpy up twice, and what happened when Bumpy let him think it worked.